Iowa Debris and Jennifer Lopez on talent.
So, Party City's going bankrupt. Does anyone care or like? Hello, you guys. Welcome back to the Cake Radio Show. And today, on the 24th day of Vlogsmas, I'm going to be talking about Party City going bankrupt. It's a very out of pocket topic for me to talk about, but I like talking about different topics on the Cake Radio Show just because I can, just to see what y'all are interested in. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on notifications because you get episodes here before anywhere else. And we're also available everywhere else you listen to podcasts. So yeah, let's just hop into it. So Party City's going bankrupt. They filed, like out of nowhere, abruptly filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on December 21st. And the company, Party City Holdings Inc., said that they would implement an orderly wind down of its business and liquidation assets. In a letter, their CEO, who joined the company in 2024, his name is Barry Litwin, made a statement saying that by the end of that day, all corporate employees of Party City, that would be their last day of employment. And throughout the following days, they've released a list of all the stores that are going to be closing. They're going to be closing around 800, and it is going to be a mass shutdown. They're liquidating assets. They are closing all the corporate stores, just to be specific. There have been rumblings in local areas, like in Texas. They're saying that some of the franchise locations will stay open until there's another course of action. But all of the corporate stores will be shutting down. And a lot of people were kind of shocked by this news because it's like, oh my God, like this is one of the, like another big major retailer closing. And it's been a little bit since we've had something like that in the last couple of years, at least something in a major way. Everything else I've seen that has like shut down or had closures have been either smaller retail brands or more like digital brands and digital companies and like cable. We've seen a lot of stuff hit the media industry, but retail has seemed a little bit more stable than it has been in the last couple of years. The reason Party City is shutting down because everyone's trying to figure out why this is happening so abruptly. They revealed that they have a lot of debt. They previously filed for bankruptcy in January of 2023, so a year ago, almost 2 years ago. And, they emerged from that process in October of 2023. And they were able to renegotiate over $1 billion in debt. And, outside of that, in that bankruptcy filing that they filed on Saturday, they reported between $1 billion to $10 billion worth of assets and between $1 billion to $10 billion worth of liabilities. And they had between 10,000 and 25,000 creditors. So I think the biggest issue with this is just the fact that like somehow, some way, whether it was they expanded too quickly or they just weren't able to keep the doors open, they just kept asking creditors for money and just continue getting into more and more debt. But the company wasn't able to keep itself, alive and survive for as long as it did. And a lot of people were really thinking like, oh, like maybe like were people not shopping at Party City and stuff like that? And I would say kind of yes. I think that there's a lot of factors for like why customers aren't aren't shopping at Party City. And this is when I get away from like the more like factual stuff into more like opinion. I feel like a lot of people aren't throwing parties anymore. Like I think a lot of it was nice that there was a store that was selling like party stuff all year round. It was like a nice one, and for a lot of people, it's a nice concept to have a place where you can shop for birthdays, you can shop for costume parties for like Halloween, and costume parties you're just throwing throughout the year. It's nice to throw like Christmas stuff, like Christmas decor and all that type of stuff. It's nice to have a store that will, celebrate all of the holidays, have themed merchandise and costumes and party materials to purchase and use for those parties. But I think for a lot of people in this era of like, the economy being a little bit off, everybody having to tight their budgets and fear for the worst because we're into a new administration. Um, I think for a lot of people, like, one, they're trying to cut costs, and Party City probably wasn't like the most affordable place for them, and it also probably wasn't the most accessible place for them. Like, I think for a lot of people, it probably would have been easier for them to just go to like their local Target or something and like get a costume there, or like get party materials there while they're shopping for other things. Um, or if they're really trying to save money, go to like Dollar Tree and get balloons or get cheaper um, materials and like stuff for their parties rather than going to like Party City and balling out. And the other thing that I think is also an issue for like what led to Party City closing, and this is a little bit more anecdotal, is the last time I went to Party City was actually this October because I was buying costumes for Halloween. And there was a costume that I was looking for, and originally I was supposed to be wearing it twice. I was going to wear it once to like a party that I was going to, um, and then I was going to be wearing it when I went to visit my friend over in Spain because I was going to be traveling around the Halloween holiday. We were planning on going to like some costume themed parties. Eventually, I didn't do the parties in Spain. I did go to the club, but I didn't go to the parties in costume in Spain. And I only wore that costume once at this party, which did suck. I might tell y'all a story time about that when I get back. But the I went to Party City first before I went to like anywhere else, and Party City did not have a good assortment of like costumes that I wanted to wear. Like a lot of it was either like overly generic, or it was like branded stuff and it wasn't like a strong library branded stuff. Um, and also the prices were just not worth it. There was like one costume that I was seeing there that was like, I think it was like $60, and I was just like, whoa, that's a little bit too much, a little bit too pricey. And especially for like the quality of the costume, like it looked like something that was really cheap to make, really cheap to wear, and something that would like that I only really could wear once. And it's like if I'm going to buy something like that, like I might as well just go to Amazon or go somewhere else where I could get it for like half or like a third of the price. Then I went to Spirit Halloween. Spirit Halloween was a little bit better. They had a little bit more high quality, options. Had a larger brand library. They had like Barbie stuff. They had like Scooby Doo stuff. The DC library, and like some of these things were also in Party City, but comparing the two's like costumes was like night and day. Like the quality I saw at Party City was significantly lower at Spirit, but the prices were like worse at Party City, it felt. And if that's how I felt in the moment, comparing it from them to like Spirit Halloween, even online, because I also looked at like online stores like HalloweenCostumes.com and eventually Amazon as well. If that's how I'm feeling, like I'm sure the public who would like usually shop at Party City probably felt that way as well. And that probably did not help the fact that they like wanted people to come in the store to buy things because they're, within anywhere between $1 billion and $10 billion worth of like liabilities. Like that's kind of crazy. Like that is nuts. Do I think Party City will like stick around from this? I think that they might survive with like the franchise stores, but it'll be like an extremely small footprint. Like I think everyone, like it's like we're gonna see like the decline of Party City videos all on YouTube and TikTok, and I think that there's gonna be people like reflecting and talking about like, oh, like here's what really happened, here's the breakdown. I might even end up doing like a full-fledged video talking about that outside of the podcast, but it is kind of crazy seeing like big bankruptcy and store closings like this. It's always fascinating to kind of see something like that because like it's very interesting, and it's very interesting to look into like what led to that. But I wish that the employees who are affected by this, especially the store employees who are going to be affected by this closing, are able to find and secure jobs elsewhere because I can't imagine how scary it must be to like oh hey, our store is closing down. You have to figure out like where you're going to be moving to for jobs like soon because hey, we're closing. Like it seemed like this was an abrupt decision. Like it seemed like nobody really knew that this was going to be happening, especially the public. So imagine how the like employees who are working at these stores day to day are probably feeling right now. But that was my thoughts on the situation. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode of the Cake Radio Show by CakeDive. I'm the CakeDive. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on notifications because you get episodes first before anybody else. Be sure to turn on notifications again, or if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platforms, turn on notifications, follow the podcast there, and give the show a good rating because it helps. I'm going to talk to y'all tomorrow on the last episode of Vlogsmith, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.